Hey all. So, this is our fifth war of the season, and I gotta admit up front, we dropped a little faster than we thought we would, and so we decided that we wanted to win this one. So I planned out a whole, BG offense. It was a Saturday, thankfully, so I could do that. And so that's part of the reason you're seeing me use somewhat more traditional attackers here. Now, this is definitely a fight that most people would not take with Reed, and it's a fight that I would not assign to most people with Reed if I'm being blunt. Because Longshot with Conflictor, almost anyone with Conflictor, let alone Conflictor in power efficiency, is just not ideal for Reed. That is rough. You lose your pre-fights at the start, it's difficult to land them again, but we have the House of X pre-fight, so we can freely land those heavies. And because we apply a debuff, the Careful Study debuff right there, whenever he throws a special, that's allowing us to put Conflictor on cooldown and therefore allowing us to actually land the debuffs from the special. Now, right there is an interaction that I don't think should be happening. So after watching it back, what I'm pretty sure happened is that when he activated the third special one in a row, Conflictor noticed that he was trying to activate a debuff. But the debuff had already been fused with the other Careful Study debuffs to form the Careful Study passive, and so Conflictor just ate one debuff, and in this case took the Petrify, which is really unfortunate because that is the single most important one, and somehow it's always the one that gets eaten first for Reed, which is just super, super fun. Anyway, fight was under control enough. We get up to this special 3, throw this. We would have been okay even if this had not killed him, but, we had enough debuffs on the opponent, it did. So we should have come out of that with pre-fights, but because of that weird little interaction with the Petrify there and Conflictor, instead we just come out with 4. You see me go and check that real quick. Oh well. It's not the end of the world. We head into this Mr. Sinister here, and this Sinister is a clever placement here. This is actually the reason that I ended up taking that Longshot with Reed. A lot of people are putting Longshot on that node, and then following it up with somebody that you would expect to take with a Cosmic or a Tech Champion, because that makes it difficult to bring Captain America with a team that won't inflict debuffs on that first node. This is actually one of those rare instances where if you have an unduped rank 3 Captain America in your battle group, that Longshot becomes a lot less scary. But good placement by them for that reason. But because I can take that Longshot with Reed, that frees me up to bring whoever I want for this Sinister, and that means I'm bringing my rank 4 Nimrod, and he's just not very dangerous. So, simple enough there. Just have to bait out some specials. We are immune to the concussion he normally places on his special too, so pushing him to that isn't an issue at all. And then we take this Peni Parker here. I've taken this many times before with many different characters, as you all have seen. This time it is only a rank 3, so really not worried, but we just want to stay on top of it, be nice and clean, because Reed does have another fight after this, and I would prefer not to have to heal him for it. I will, because winning is important to us in this one, but I would prefer not to. So we head in, and a reminder, the reason that this works is that Peni Parker is able to stun, or to shrug stun debuffs, and auto-block when she is hit by a heavy, but because the passive stun from the Guidance pre-fight is not a stun debuff, it can't be purified. She tries to auto-block, but can't because she's stunned, and you just have a ton of control over the fight because of that. That's allowing us to land these frequent heavies, which is really important because it keeps all of our debuffs up, keeps our damage up, keeps the node under control, and we have to worry about fewer specials from Peni. Now, right here, I do tend to go for another heavy or 2 with the aim of trying to burn some of those Spider Sense charges and lower her chance to auto-block the special 2. When that doesn't work, the guidance pre-fight gives you longer than normal on your parry stuns, and so that's why you saw me go for medium and then the special 2. It's not guaranteed to work, of course, but the idea is that the medium triggers auto block, and then by the time the first hit of the special 2 hits her outside of her stun, the auto block has worn off, and that way you don't get power burned. See, there it is again. It's not a guarantee at all, but it's just one little thing that I did in this fight to make it slightly safer. Weight the dice in our favor, so to speak. Anyway, at this point, willpower being reversed is doing a fair amount of damage. I think I hit into her shield here just to see how much our modified attack has grown. We could break it if we wanted to, but we really don't need to, and so I'm not going to bother, because I just feel like if I focus on that, I'm going to get hit in the face with a special 1 as I charge. We all know how the AI is. Anyway, go ahead and throw the special 3 here, and I think this finishes it. If it doesn't, it'll be over quickly afterwards, because we're getting a very big fury off of this, given that we have, 12 debuffs on the opponent, counting the Careful Study passive as 3? Yeah, that was plenty of damage. So, moving on to Apocalypse on 24, the EMP Modification mini-boss. And I'm just going to give you a heads up. I took this fight immediately after finishing a 2.5 hour stream of me playing Elden Ring for the first time ever. I should not have done that. I should have gone and warmed up with something MCOC related, should have gotten in my rhythm. I've taken this fight before, it's not that difficult, but I did kind of underestimate a rank 4 Apocalypse, and you're going to see some messy stuff in here. So remember, the goal in this is to try and make sure that if he throws a special 1, you are at 8 or below charges. Or, a multiple. Not a multiple. Looking at the 1's place, you're at 8 or below. Because then it loops around, right? Now, unfortunately, we're at 9 right there. So I intentionally block 1 hit, and then I tried to dex out of his light following that medium. Didn't respond. I guess I was slow. So, unfortunate. Do not like being hit in the face. Thankfully, Apocalypse has a fairly low crit rate, although it is going up with Aspect of Evolution. And so he didn't land crits on me, and so Reed's physical resistance came into play. Still, don't want that to happen again, and really don't enjoy this, because him throwing that special 1 right there means that this window was super tight, and we almost lost our debuffs. If he had started gaining power completely normally and crossing more bars of power, that's how you lose this fight. Anyway, we're at 18, so that's where we want to be. Block 2 hits. We know the next attack is going to be unblockable. Let's try and be ready to dex it. So I'm going to block immediately following this special 2 to bait that out, not a special 1. And then I'm going to try and dex that medium, because I knew it was coming. You heard me talking through my entire plan. I knew it was coming. Got hit by it anyway. I don't know. Maybe it was inputs. Maybe I was just way too tense from playing a different game for a while. It seems very possible this particular time. But we are now fully ramped. We're reversing willpower. I'm really not worried about Apocalypse's special 2. Here it goes. Want to make sure that ground slam is nice and close. And funnily enough, that's the worst that evade has ever gone for me. Yeah. I should have warmed up better. Because I thought I had it, but still ended up blocking parts of it. Anyways, rank 4 Reed is pretty darn tanky, and this was my last fight with him. So, while I'm kind of embarrassed that I have to show you all that, not the end of the world as far as the actual war goes. So we move on to this Immortal Hulk here with Nimrod. There are a number of different things to say here. You don't want to dash back too often. You don't want him to heal too often because it makes managing Gamma difficult. It makes him potentially go unblockable. That's not fun. If you don't manage correctly, he will go unblockable while he's in his immortality. That's also not fun. But at the end of the day, as long as you're willing to dance, as long as you control the spacing of the overall fight, Nimrod just has so much damage over time that I'm really not worried about where this fight goes. You can see he's back up to 100%. That's fine. we baited out that special 2, that was the important thing. Actually go for the full evade this time, learning my lesson from that Massacre fight that I took last season. Whiffed there, which locked him down. Not fun, but here we go. Finally throw the special 2. Now, it's extremely annoying that he did dance long enough before throwing his special 2 that we didn't have the energy vulnerability up, because I actually did the math earlier, and that's the difference between him having a 10% energy resistance and a 72% energy vulnerability. I went and crunched the numbers with Nimrod's Sig and the way that those values go negative. So we would have done a lot more damage if we had still had the vulnerability up. But it's okay. We get back up to another special 2. He doesn't get enough gamma to go immortal. No problems whatsoever. Nimrod is a house and a half. Moving on to Domino here. She is going to heal. We don't have immunity to nullify, so that's going to happen. Really doesn't matter. It just means we're not going to hit quite as hard because we're going to lose some of our armor ups. It means we definitely do not want to get hit a bunch, especially by a special 3 or something, because we won't have as many resistances as normal. But as you can see, it's also helping us ramp even faster than we normally do against a mutant, and so she just doesn't stand much of a chance. So here we go, throw the special 2. She does, nice and quickly. Now we have that power drain on her. She's no longer unlucky. I was hoping for her to come in here and give us another armor up, but of course it gets nullified. This time, though, we throw it with the energy vulnerability up, get that 72% damage bonus, and she just melts. So then moving on, we are taking this kitty on the Hard Knock Life Brute Force Limber Miniboss, node 55. Again with Nimrod, and I used my last House of X pre-fight here. Don't need it. You don't need to stun on this node. I decided that I wanted the freedom to do so because it would also help me build more armor ups, but you really don't need it. And that's even without these intercepts that I'm going for that are, again, not necessary. You can just bait heavies and do this nice and safe that way. So we throw our special 1 at the right moment. We get both modes up, the energize and the energy vulnerability. We know that as we hit in there, we're letting a dex expire, and so the global does come into play. We wait for it to go away. We were planning ahead. We knew she'd get that miss passive. We just waited out. And then we throw this big unblockable special 2 into her block, because, man, I love the fact that Nimrod goes unblockable and Eradicate when he's duped, and down she goes. Very, very simple fight. Nimrod is one of the best kitty counters in the game, and this global does not change that. It just means you have to be slightly more careful. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. I definitely enjoyed bringing out the big guns again. I had very much missed Reed. That Apocalypse fight notwithstanding, he's my boy. So anyway, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. We did unfortunately lose this one. HCMA put up the best performance they've ever had against us that I can remember. Kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. We got plenty of the season left. We'll see how we do. We knew that we were taking the season off and we might get lower rewards. It is what it is. Anyway, hope y'all enjoy this, and I will catch y'all next time. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and take care.